look like he's going to have the health. But I do like what you said earlier, and I am starting to get scared that Kawhi maybe is leading the Lakers on a little bit.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
were you saying again about that?
How long? According to the folks tuning in chat, there's a little echo, but we got it taken care of. All right, so we good. Now, so what I was saying was, I would not be surprised if, in an attempt to just sabotage another like dynasty, that Kawhi would be just trying to lead the Lakers on a little bit. A couple different teams, I feel like, hey, yeah, let's meet, and then now you see all of these free agents coming off the board. Whereas even if the Lakers didn't get Kawhi right now, if they filled out that roster with some of the top prospects who are already been gone, who's already off the board, they would have still had a pretty good team. But I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if any day now Kawhi say, you know what, I'm going to still sign with the Toronto Raptors. We did it once, you know what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
chilling up here because while I do think being in LA will help New Balance, because up until the finals, I didn't even know what Kawhi's shoes look like. Right, he
Right.
go to LA. That's instant
Oh, if he went to LA,
viewership,
I'd buy a pair of his shoes. Right.
and that's a fact. I think that what he has to do is settle in with like, yeah, I could sell some shoes over here in the United States, but let me go ahead and get this money in Canada for a hot second, and let's make sure everybody in Canada is wearing a pair of these Kawhi New Balances. And I feel like if he just took that approach, that would solve that issue for him. Is like, yo, we got a whole country. Let's make a Kawhi New Balance day, and let's keep the money up that way. But let's go ahead and sabotage the Lakers and LeBron and stop another dynasty before it can even get started.
Yeah, I mean, that would be cold if that's why he's doing it. But I mean, really, I just look at it. What does he have to gain on a return to Toronto? Like at best, at very best, Toronto repeats. The
Mm-hmm.
second title will not be as sweet as the first, and the Raptors will not keep winning after that. It's not like they're set up to be a dynasty. Kawhi's not going to win again in a few years from now. Their best chance to win again would really be next year because the league is still wide open and they're
Mm-hmm.
the reigning champ. So it would look as if they're the favorite. But honestly, if Golden State never had Clay get injured, I'm still on the premise that Golden State would still have pulled out that series. I thought they were going to win game 6 if Clay didn't tear his ACL, and I think they were going to win game 7. So you really had the fact that Clay went down and KD, and they were dealing with, two historic injuries at the worst time. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
let's be real, an ACL tear and an Achilles tear, two of the worst injuries you can get in basketball.
Yeah. I will say now, if I heard a lot of people make that argument, right? But you got to remember, going into the playoffs, the Raptors, what's his name, Ananobi,
Mm-hmm.
a key young piece for them, wasn't there. Still hella talented. We seen Siakam,
Oh, no, they had a ton of pieces, yeah.
a ton of pieces, so they just gonna get better. So when the finals come around, everybody go with this. It's the championship experience. The Warriors, they've been there before. Now you got all of these young pieces, because that's the thing I love about them. The Raptors, they was young, who
I
already
mean,
know what it
they
take to win it
are.
all. In a tough situation, they could come back and it'll be legit next year.
But the pieces that help them get over the Giannis hump, because Giannis is going to continue to get better in the East as well. Now they have KD after a year from now when KD comes back. So you have KD and Giannis to deal with in the East. And after a year, it doesn't look as bright because if you give Giannis one more full year and playoff loss to develop, you're assuming he's going to, continue to get that outside game. Kevin Durant will be more healthy. So you really only have a 1 year window in Toronto
Yeah.
when you really think about it. Beyond that, they won't be able to re-sign Mark Gasol. At least he won't be the same player.
Mm-hmm.
Serge Ibaka, both of those players, on top of Fred Van Vliet, were huge
Yeah.
in the Raptors winning the finals. Not to mention the Eastern Conference Finals, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone gave Kawhi a ton of credit for his defensive prowess on Giannis, but they were building a wall. They were building a wall with Mark Gasol and Serge Ibaka and everybody else. making sure that 3 or 4 bodies were in Giannis's way from getting to the paint. And so it took a whole team, and it took, Giannis, a multiple-time block champ, Marc Gasol, Defensive Player of the Year, Kawhi, a Defensive Player of the Year. And the other two are older pieces. So I do still really think the Raptors only have a 1-year window. Yeah. And if you're Kawhi, do you want to take the chance on, not only your health, but that being that 1 year, you can carry them again and have 12 other teams that really think they have a chance to win it all? Because, there really is, if Kawhi chooses Toronto or the Clippers, there's 12 to 13 teams in the NBA that could win it next year. Yeah. Realistically. All the way down to the Utah Jazz fans will think they have a realistic shot. Raptors fans would still think they have a realistic shot. Even 76ers fans were mad this morning that I didn't call them a top 5 team in the NBA over the Warriors. So, there's definitely a lot of ways this could go. But, the way the reports are going, I just really have to think Kawhi heads to the Lakers. Because if he does and they win, that they would be so good if he gets to come with a Danny Green and others. You have to assume they win the next 3 titles, right?
For sure. If he goes to the Lakers, you had to assume that they're gonna win every game next season. Like,
Shannon Sharp said 75-7.
That's what I'm saying. They probably won't win every game, but there's not a game that you could put your money down.
They would each miss 20 games in a season.
Yeah,
but that brings me into to Carmelo or potentially even Marcus Morris. Now Andre Iguodala could sign for the minimum because he's getting paid. He's going to get paid to not play for the Grizzlies.
Exactly.
So you do have other options to not only back up Kawhi, back up LeBron, back up Davis. Carmelo is, I think, a real solid option to fit into that role because he wants to start. Yeah. And so you pretty much just give him DNPs every game that, LeBron, Davis, and Kuzma are all playing. And when one of them are out, you just put them into the starting line.
And let him go wild, yeah. But I think that's been the Achilles heel of all of these LeBron teams is that they build on these old players and these veteran minimum contracts. And they got one season, and then you got to reload the whole team up in year 2, year 3. You need a whole new Iguodala. The Warriors are getting rid of Iguodala for a couple reasons. Obviously, he been spilling all of the tea in the past couple weeks, giving all of the insight on they history dealing with injuries. So they need to get him out of there because they pissed with him. But also he been hurt the last 2 playoff runs, and when it comes down to the wire, he almost didn't play. He damn near probably could have sat down this finals and the last finals before. So you're not getting much from Iguodala coming off the bench.
No, and honestly, that would be a good argument. Who could give you more coming off the bench or coming off the bench in a starter's role between Iguodala and Carmelo?
Yeah.
Iggy is obviously going to be a better defender, and Carmelo is going to give you more of a scoring touch.
Yeah, which I think they'll need.
No, they will need it, especially depending on who's the person that is out for the game. Or even if Kuzma's out for a game, having Carmelo take Kuzma's role off the bench that game and get some more minutes would be okay. My problem is I don't want Carmelo on the court with Kawhi, LeBron, and AD. We don't need to try and get that big. Unless he all of a sudden develops to a 3 or 4 3-point attempts a game and shoots almost 40% from 3. Unless that's going to happen, I don't see a reason for him to be on the court.
Why I like Carmelo is I hope in the best case scenario is that he learned from his time in Houston. And this whole entire offseason, he's been making sure his body is in pristine condition.
He has. I've seen a lot of things from shooting.
And has been just pulling up from 3, working that spot up in the corner, kick it around to me. And he's that guy who LeBron always needs to sit in the corner and just pull threes. Instead of sending AD to play Chris Bosh's role, we got Carmelo for that. Carmelo, just get to the corner, People gonna be scared of him going off the dribble. He not gonna do it though. He just gonna shoot. That's
Let's see.
what I would look.
I put out a tweet earlier today saying Kawhi is Pippen and Jordan combined. Like if you took the good parts and the flaws of both of their games, and then LeBron is Magic and Jordan combined, and Kawhi is Garnett and Jordan combined. Now the Garnett Jordan comp is really just the fact that AD is, the most athletic big man we've seen, pretty much outside of Wilt. Although I haven't actually gotten to see if he's athletic as they say. But they try to say, well, it's the strongest man to ever play in the NBA, and he jumps the highest and everything else. But I mean, that happened so long ago. I find it hard to believe.
Yeah.
But I mean, Anthony Davis. I mean, he's got ball skills like a guard. I mean, he's not necessarily a great 3-point shooter. He has high PER like a Jordan. And if you go look at other power forwards in history, go look at the Dirks, the Duncans, the Garnetts. None of them had 28-point game seasons where they averaged 28 for a whole season to go with 12 rebounds, two to three blocks, 3 or 4 assists or 2 or 3 assists. Like Anthony Davis is a very special basketball player when it comes to what he can do. And so, I mean, everyone wants to talk about how each could be like, these different roles. I just think they're all three Jordan in their own way. Because drop any of them into 1989 and on the Bulls and see what happens. Like they are all very good. I mean, if you don't think Anthony Davis could, team up with Pippen, Harper, and Rodman and, run the 90s, or LeBron or Kawhi couldn't have done it, I mean, they would have easily. It would have happened just the same as with Jordan.
Yeah, I would say, man, the folks in the comments, they're not feeling the Jordan comparisons at all. They especially when it comes to LeBron, the folks feel like he don't got no Jordan in him. I agree with you. I think that.
Go ahead.
I think that your boy LeBron James is the closest thing to Jordan, but like you said, different. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Jordan
saying
and Magic,
take strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like when you're like combining the players. Because Magic can't score 26, 27 a game like LeBron has done his whole career. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying as far as Jordan. Like he doesn't have Jordan the way Jordan scores. That would be Kobe. But LeBron has the fact that he can go get you 30 a night while still getting you those other things. That's how he's kind of Jordan-like. I'm not really saying his fadeaway or his actual game. I'm saying if you combine them. Like, obviously, AD is not Jordan either. But if you, combine the two players into one body, I feel like that's almost what they would look like. And that's all I really mean by that tweet. But go ahead.
I would say when you were describing AD, I'm telling you, you got me nervous because I felt like you was describing Chris Bosh. Before he came to the Miami Heat, he was everything that you were saying. He was a scorer. He could get you points, rebounds. And, like, if you add Kawhi to this team, you already got your Batman and Robin, your LeBron and Dwayne Wade. And I feel like it sucks, but then you turn AD into Chris Bosh, and that's the last thing that I want to see happen. I'd rather see Kawhi not come, and then you legitimately have LeBron and AD go to work than him turn into Chris Bosh.
I get that, but let's just look at this for a comparison. Chris Bosh's peak before he got to Miami. 24, 11, and 1 block, 1 steal. That's his peak. You have Anthony Davis. His peak is 28 and a half, 11.6 rebounds, 2.8 blocks, 1.6 steals. So, I mean, he leads in every category on Bosh. Again, like, I can see the Bosh comparison, but, like, the same thing I meant with Garnett or Bosh. Like, it's them, but on steroids because they're even more athletic, more ball handling skills. That's where the Jordan comes in. He's obviously not Jordan. He just has Jordan's, a level of scoring impact or PER, not his clutch gene or the ability to take over a game, because a lot of that's going to always be more towards the guards, and that's why we tend to favor guards when we're talking all time anyway. We favor the point guards, shooting guards, and small forwards because they have the ball in their hands, and so they have the ball in their hands more. So we tend to think that means they're better. But I mean, there's no real way for us to say who's better between Shaq and Jordan, Kareem and Jordan. Like, you have to always go to accolades because they 100% play completely different. Like, one person has the ball in their hands, another has to have the ball passed to them. I mean, it really is like comparing tomatoes and oranges. Like, it's two opposites. But we can transfer over here. How far do you think Kyrie could take the Brooklyn Nets?
I think he could take them to.
That's obviously without KD.
Yeah, I think that without KD, I see them as the 9th seed, maybe the 8th seed.
So in the East, though, like
in the East,
like they were the 6th seed this year, and they're not losing anyone. They're adding Kyrie instead of D'Lo, and they're adding DeAndre Jordan. So they're getting deep.
Kyrie, without Kyrie's game to me is sorry. So go here. The reason why he didn't want to play, well, allegedly, the reason why he didn't want to play with LeBron is because he wanted it. He wanted it on his back. I want this to be my own team. Right. I think what you seen happen to him in Boston was he wanted. Yes, we're great as a team. All of you guys individually have shown y'all could get it done, but that's not why we're here. We're here so Kyrie could get buckets and raise my profile. So
I mean,
no matter what Brooklyn did this year, it's a new team. It's Kyrie's team. I got 1 year to get this off before Kevin show up. So I'm gonna dribble this thing till everybody, y'all just stand in the corner and back up and let me go to work, and I might kick you an assist.
He does have a free reign to do that. You're right. Like, Kyrie is in a position to have the Kyrie show.
Yeah.
But what's better about that is, say Kyrie gets in the position now where he can almost have a reverse Boston. Say Brooklyn has no expectations this first year. Say they get to the Eastern Conference Finals or Game 7 of the second round, and they take either the Bucks, Raptors, or whoever, you name it, to 7 games in the quarterfinals or whatever, or the semis. And if that happens, and they've already kind of gotten close where they could have continued to compete, and then now Kevin Durant gets added, now that pressure that Kyrie was seeing is going to be again on KD, because now he's going to be expected to take them over the top because they were, say, a 4th or 5th seed this year. And so they're going to be expected to be a number 1 seed with KD coming back after a 1 full year to recover from his Achilles.
Yeah. I can see that being a benefit for him. And I also think that this is a year where, like you said, there's no expectation. So for him, we don't need to really win. And actually, if we lose, we might even mess around and get a lottery pick to add to Kevin coming back. So, not saying that they would tank or anything, and obviously with the new rules in the draft, that's not even going to benefit him as it would have. But I do believe that while the pressure would be on Kevin to do it, and obviously he's making the move because he wants his own, like, he wants to write his own story. Same thing as Kyrie was doing, trying to get out of Cleveland. Kevin is trying to do that now with the Brooklyn Nets, and hopefully he has a different mindset than Kyrie had in Boston that second year in order for that to work. But definitely this first year in Brooklyn is going to be maybe the 8th seed, first round exit.
Do you think there will be any sense of, like, Kyrie getting some level of Curry treatment to the Nets because he wanted to go there? He almost made sure that KD went there as well, because KD was just as happy going to New York, and so Kyrie pretty much made it to where they were going to Brooklyn. and he's going to get almost a full year, if not a full year and playoffs, to play without KD. And so if they have some level of success without him, like could it almost get to the point where, Brooklyn has more Kyrie fans than KD? Because right now they definitely have more Steph Curry fans in Golden State than KD.
Oh,
I'm just saying,
sure.
like, will KD for sure overtake Kyrie as the face of the franchise?
Oh no.
Because I mean, you have to assume he is right now, obviously, but he won't be able to play a game for the next year. So on the court, Kyrie will be. But if KD comes back and he's, say, the 15th best player in the NBA or the 10th, and he's no longer a top 5 because he has regressed from that Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the next time he gets to play a full season, he is going to be 32 and coming off an Achilles tear. Yeah. Kobe was not much older than that, and Kobe went downhill quick. Everyone's hoping KD will be more like Julius Erving because obviously we don't want to see a great career be done in the blink of an eye. But, I mean, KD could be looking at all of a sudden dropping to a 21, 22 point a game score.
Yeah, you know what? That makes sense. And I was listening to First Take earlier today, and Stephen A. was saying, or one of those two, Max or Stephen A., and they talked about the style of play that Kyrie Irving plays being more appealing in that area anyway. So like the fans wanting to see him go to work and be shifty and dribble.
No, they will
in
the New York area.
Yeah, they'll love that. So that's another hurdle that KD is going to have to get over. And
I think a full year of Kyrie is really going to impact that. Yeah. Because they're going to get a full year of that where, like you were just saying, even if they're not the 9th seed, even if they're a better seed, but it's the Kyrie show where he's dribbling out the shot clock and, making moves on people and scoring. Oh, yes, Brooklyn will hype that up. They already did it all year with D'Lo. They're going to do it with Kyrie. He's a bigger name.
Yeah. Somebody down here, I'll say the burner account, says the difference between Kobe is that he also had to carry that whole entire Lakers team when he came back with that Achilles. Durant won't necessarily have to do that. And if he can keep his usage rate to about where it was, it obviously to be more than where it was at Golden State. But the beautiful thing about Golden State is he just every now and again had to go to work and just beat somebody one-on-one, could pass it. You know what I mean? The ball movement was so great. He had some wide open shots. If he could not have to turn into Kevin Durant with OKC, but then a smaller version of Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors, he may be legit. Sorry, something flying around.
Yeah, so we had Wesley Matthews earlier. He got taken down, or he got signed by the Bucks. And so the free agents we really got left on the board are outside of Kawhi. Like say Kawhi doesn't sign with the Lakers, where are they really at on options? And if you look at that, if they don't get Kawhi, there's Boogie, Danny Green, Marcus Morris, Willie Cauley-Stein, if the Kings did in fact get rid of his rights, which I think they did, JaVale McGee, Rondo, KCP, Isaiah Thomas. Like he's almost looking like a good bring back for the Lakers. Like there's so few point guards with Seth Curry already being signed and everybody else. It's almost looking like the Lakers may sign Isaiah Thomas and Boogie Cousins. If the Lakers' big 3 free agent signings this summer were Boogie Cousins, Danny Green, and Isaiah Thomas, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, it's not gonna work out. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even do that. If I was
that's their best option without Kawhi.
I would go not best option. I would go try to find diamonds in the rough, and let me just go get some young scrappy guy from the G League who may be something special. Or, let me go try to find
Alex
Fred
Caruso
VanVleet.
And Jeremiah Jones and stuff like that.
Yeah, let me get somebody who hasn't had the shot yet and hopefully we when the lights cut on and we really need them, they show up, and then even if they not great this year, next year they'll be ready.
I mean, man, too bad Jello had surgery for this summer to wait for 2020. This looks like the perfect summer to give Jello a
Facts.
chance.
I'm sure if they called him right now, surgery and all, he'll look. Let me just go ahead and try. I'll put a boot on.
Let me
Yeah,
wobble out there.
exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean I'd try and go out there with a broken leg. I mean, I could
Facts.
understand how the child in Kevin Durant wanted to play on a hurt leg.
Yeah.
I would want to in a heartbeat. Like I'm at the rec and I hurt myself and I'm trying to continue playing like it's the NBA Finals or something. So I mean,
Yeah.
I can definitely understand that. As far as winners and losers in free agency go right now, who are your biggest 5 losers right now?
I'm gonna say at this moment until they close out this Kawhi thing, the Lakers they got an L from me. It's either Kawhi
It's
or it's
choir
bust
bust.
at this point.
Yeah.
So unless y'all know something nobody else knows, and they know for a fact that they're gonna get Kawhi, then they got the biggest L. Let me see.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people trying to say, because I put out a poll earlier and I asked who had the worst offseason. Warriors, because they lost KD. The Nets, because they didn't get KD and Kyrie. The Raptors, if they lose Kawhi. Or the Lakers, if they don't get Kawhi. Who would have had the worst offseason out of the 4? And the timeline was like dramatically voting for the Knicks when the Knicks technically lost nothing. Like they lost hope. They lost hope. They lost faith. They lost the faith in James Dolan. They lost hope that they can watch basketball for the next year. Like all of those things, yeah. But they didn't actually lose a player. Their team technically got better this offseason with the pieces they added. They just didn't get as good as fans hoped.
Yeah, but that's the thing with the NBA though. Hope is more important than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
the fact
true.
that you can hope. The Knicks
no,
fans
it's like us.
haven't.
We hoped for Kawhi. I get what you're saying. The Lakers hoped for Kawhi, but if we didn't get Kawhi, no Laker fan would have been happy with us signing Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
We didn't want him. We wanted Kawhi or quality pieces. But I mean, because you don't want to spend max money on a player that's not max money.
Yeah.
And apparently that's the way the Knicks felt about Kyrie. Apparently they didn't want to give Kyrie Irving a max contract because they didn't believe he was worth max money. As well as they wanted to see Kevin Durant's injury report. So really it sounds like either the Knicks screwed themselves or they're just trying to save face with their fans by saying, oh, well, we didn't want these guys anyway.
Yeah, somebody in the chat says that it's official that Kawhi is going to the Lakers. I don't see that though.
I'm hitting up Waj right now.
Yeah. But I don't see it. I don't see I don't see that either.
No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing.
Stop lying. They lying.
Yeah.
Y'all had me over here nervous.
No, I mean, there was someone who's semi-famous and has a check mark on Twitter. They changed their name to Adrian Waj earlier, and they I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his last name. And they put out a tweet saying Kawhi signed. I literally had a heart attack because I thought it was real. Yeah. No, I mean, people definitely trying to get you right now. So, yeah, I mean, my biggest 5 losers, obviously, we're still waiting for the Kawhi domino to fall. But the Lakers are losers at this moment because they've gotten no one but Kawhi. So they're on the list. But if they get Kawhi, obviously, it cancels all of that out because they got the biggest fish. And the biggest fish can make the rest of it look better. Like last year, the Lakers got no one good in free agency, but they got LeBron James. So, I mean, it seemed as if they won free agency. It's going to kind of be the same way this year. But, I mean, we're just Kawhi just took a long time to make his decision, and if he is choosing the Lakers, it's not helping them by taking so long. And if he's choosing the Raptors, well, then he kind of did what you said. He just let him
Yeah,
on.
exactly. And if you look at like last year, uh, with the Lakers signing LeBron, that felt like, yo, they won it all. But then if you look at the season, they didn't even make the playoffs. Obviously, it's injuries and all of that stuff. But
Mostly
because
because
it
of
was
Lonzo Ball's injury.
yeah, but because there was so much hope around the fact that they could have done it, they still had a damn good off season.
No, they did. Well, look, I'm under the premise, especially with Kevin Durant's injury, if he had that same injury in round 2 and the Lakers faced the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, Lakers would be NBA champions.
Yeah,
I think they were a Lonzo and LeBron injury away from being NBA champs. Now, obviously, we needed BI to also be healthy and not have blood clot issues or anything come playoff time. But if those things happen, the Lakers were going to be a very tough out in the playoffs. They just were. Like
yeah,
Lonzo was going to D up Steph Curry. And I mean, he was much like what you saw LeBron do to Curry in 2016. Some of those plays where he looked back at him and all of that, you were going to see something similar from Lonzo against Curry. Like
yeah,
he was going to have some moments where it was going to put people on notice. But obviously, we didn't get that because the Lakers faced probably the second most injuries since the Grizzlies a few years ago when they had like some NBA record. Like the
yeah.
Lakers literally faced constant injuries. They didn't have. They only had 3 of their 5 starters for a majority of their games.
Mm-hmm.
Like they only put 4 out of 5 of their starters from opening day. They only put 4 out of 5 of those in a lineup together like 25, 30 times. And after that, it was pretty much over. They didn't have 4 or more starters healthy ever. Because by the time LeBron came back, Kuzma pretty much went, or not Kuzma, BI went down. And they didn't have Lonzo the whole time.
Yeah. Even they started the season off crazy with the suspensions, Rondo and
Mm-hmm.
Bi. So the whole season was crazy for them.
No, they never got continuity. Then you also had JaVale McGee who went out for a little bit. And I mean, the Lakers season can be, broken down a lot of different ways. And obviously, it's an easy punching bag line to, oh, the Lakers didn't even make the playoffs with LeBron. Like, and
Yeah,
just it's easy to just say that for stuff on Twitter to get retweets and likes because you're talking crap about the Lakers. Like that is easy. But what's a little harder is actually trying to figure out, okay, well, why'd they lose all these games when they clearly actually have the talent to make the playoffs?
yeah,
Because if you don't think they have the talent, then I mean that's just a whole different argument you have to get into. Uh,
yeah. That's kind of definitely a talented squad. And what'll be interesting is you'll be able to tell how talented the Lakers were this
by how
year
the
by
Pelicans
watching
do.
exactly.
Yeah,
If the Pelicans
yeah.
go to the playoffs this year, then you'll know that Laker team last year was supposed to get it
Oh,
done.
if the Pelicans go to the playoffs this year and the Lakers do not win the NBA title, we're just going to go ahead and go right into this next topic anyway because we're already on it. 100%, they lost the trade. Like
For
it's
sure.
done. Like I mean, them winning the trade because I said the whole year I wouldn't trade more than 2 of you know the core, and I would prefer the second one to be like Hart. And then I would trade pretty much all of my extra pieces. Was hoping Zubac would have been in that if they got it done at the trade deadline, along with second round picks, first round picks, anything they wanted. But you had to have kept, 2 of Zoku's, Zobi, Bi Kuz, whatever. That was pretty
Yeah.
much my premise on it,
Mm-hmm.
and preferably Zoku's
Yeah.
is what I was wanting. Um, but you almost have to do that because you're giving away, like, a lot of people are sold on Kyle Kuzma, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
just because he overplayed his draft stock.
For
If he
sure.
was a
100%.
second or yeah, if he was a second, third, fourth pick of the draft, people wouldn't be calling him or giving him as much praise as they are now. He's
Yeah.
getting praise for overplaying his draft stock.
For
Then
sure.
you have Ingram, who who a lot of people think can be the next KD still. He still has a lot of stands out there. Lonzo still has a whole lot of fans out there who really think he can be one of the next great point guards in the league. And so when you look, even if you don't agree with the BI statement, or you don't agree with the Lonzo or the Kuzma, there's really no way you can deny all three. Like, you can't say all three just completely suck. So you have multiple players there that you can make an argument on how they can become stars in this league. And now, granted, AD is a, potential Hall of Fame level player. But if Lonzo, BI, Kuzma, Hart, if those players' careers go right, or, even who ended up being the fourth pick, DeAndre Herder, or however you pronounce his last name, I butchered that. You don't know how all of their careers are going to shape up yet. Yeah. And so you're trading all of that for Anthony Davis. I mean, if they don't win a title this year, it's going to be a real tough pill to swallow for Lakers fans.
I agree with you. If they don't win the title, it's a damn shame. And right now, it's looking like that is all hinged on Kawhi.
Exactly.
The Pelicans, man, I'm excited to watch them work, because I feel like they have what Golden State had right when they turned the corner. And I feel like that's the shit I was praying that LeBron, when he said that he wanted to get some younger players in LA, that he was going to really mean it and really spend some time developing with that young core. Because that's when you think about, you go back to like the 73-10 Warriors, when you let Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, you let them grow into, you know what I mean? There was a point where they was getting knocked out of the playoffs, and then all of a sudden the switch flipped, and then they turned into something that now, if any one of those three players took off a Warriors jersey, it would be like the end of the world. You know what I'm saying?
No,
you had that with the Lakers, where you could have had a Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball like dynasty being created, because to what we were talking about earlier, I feel like that Pelicans trade like split a lot of diehard Laker fans. There's a lot of Laker fans out there who could care less about what was happening in New Orleans. Probably don't even know that the Pelicans had a team, and now that's their like second favorite to like 1A,
nearly
1B
favorite team. I've seen a lot of Lakers fans, especially the ones that are more pro Kobe, really get onto the Pelicans bandwagon, because a lot of Kobe fans are actually Lonzo fans. A whole lot of them, not all, but a whole lot of Kobe fans are Lonzo fans. And they're a little more Lonzo and Kobe fans, definitely more so Kobe, than they ever will be LeBron. No matter what LeBron does for the Lakers. There's a and it's why when I was talking about this last year, I didn't necessarily want LeBron to go to LA, because unless LeBron won 2, 3, 4 titles there, nothing he did was ever really going to be enough for their fans. He couldn't just go there and win one more title and finish off his career. He couldn't go there and not win at all, because if he goes there and not win at all, not only will the rest of the NBA be currently bashing him, but he'll be getting bashed by other people as well from around his own team.
Yeah. And tell me this, and this is something I was thinking about the other day. What players, can you recall any young players who played with LeBron who, after he left, kind of came into their own? Right? So in Miami, a championship team, Chalmers was somebody who was like a consistent piece for them. But there's no young guys who plays with LeBron who then he leaves and you like, now that dude he's a better player.
I mean, it's never happened. The only 2 times close is a player showed up like the following year. Like Kyrie, he showed up the year after LeBron left. And then Hassan Whiteside Hassan Whiteside showed up in Miami the year LeBron left from the Kings, I think, or the G League. Maybe it was the G League, one or the other. And so Hassan shows up to Miami after that, and he dramatically improves and has a breakout year for the Heat with LeBron not on the squad.
Exactly.
So we've seen something like that, but we've never seen a player get better after they play with LeBron.
And this is why I think Kyle Kuzma, somebody in the comments was talking about his ceiling is higher than Lonzo's, and I think that his career just stunted with LeBron, playing on that team with LeBron. The touches that he got last year, they drastically. He damn near might not even play.
And when you look at it, look at the per game for something called screen assists, an assist that a point guard really shouldn't be getting, but ones like Ben Simmons and some other tall point guards sometimes do. Or point guard, or even Jamal Murray gets a lot of screen assists because he passes to Jokic, and Jokic kind of more runs their offense, right? Lonzo this season was the third highest point guard in screen assists in the league at like almost 5 a game. And so he was setting screens that were directly leading the scores. And so when you had that happen between when players like Lonzo, Jamal Murray, and Ben Simmons are doing that, they're getting other players involved without even touching the ball. And you know, a lot of people can, you know, brush that off like it's a meaningless stat, but the Lakers as a team were 13th in the NBA in screen assists when Lonzo was playing, and when he went out, they went all the way to 27th. So what that shows you is Lonzo got taken out of his role. He was no longer getting to pass, because it's not like Lonzo was a near 8 assists, 7 assists a game player as a rookie, and then he became a 5 assists a game player. No, he didn't get worse as a passer. He got better, if anything, but he got the ball taken out of his hands more. So what he did to get better is he just tried to get better in his role. He improved defensively. He improved as far as strength goes. He improved helping get his teammates involved, even when he didn't have the ball to help get them involved. And if anything, it's going to help Lonzo throughout his career, because the problem with LeBron, people have always said he can't play off ball because he doesn't do it, or he's unwilling. Lonzo is completely willing to do whatever to help the team win. He doesn't care about his stats. He just wants to play good basketball.
Exactly.
And granted, we want him to develop and be more of like a 38% three-point shooter, which I think he will be awfully close to this season. And a lot of the things on the Pelicans are lining up perfectly for Lonzo. And maybe even the whole family. Like I really think they're a playoff team this year, but because the West is so stacked, say they're not, and they get lucky in the lottery again and land a top 5 pick. Because it isn't certain LaMelo Ball is the number 1 pick next year, but he's a top 5 to 10 pick guaranteed. Like there's no way he would slip out of the top 5 or 10 just because of his Zion effect alone. Because he's going to sell tickets. It's the same reason. It's the same reason the Blazers are willing to sign Damian Lillard to $49 million a year, even though they know every year he's on that contract, they have absolutely zero shot at an NBA title. They know that, but they're okay with it, because $49 million a year for Damian Lillard is worth it when he's the 7th most famous NBA player, and he's going to bring in fans. Because at the end of the day, it is all about selling tickets. One team can win an NBA title, and that's it. The rest got to make money.
Hey, go back to hope. Damian
Lillard,
he's still hope. Like, you just feel like maybe one day
maybe he'll make a clutch shot.
Exactly. It's just enough to make you tune in and watch. But I agree with you when you talk about the setup for next year with the Pelicans, and as far as your boy Melo sliding down there and potentially joining the squad.
Because just imagine, it's like an AAU generation right now, right? Like everyone likes to hop on, join teams, do all this. Well, if they got drafted the AAU generation just got drafted to the same team,
Facts.
where you got LaMelo, Lonzo, and Zion, the three biggest names under the age of 21.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
fact.
maybe you can add Luka Doncic into that because he's a big name overseas.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, those are the biggest names in basketball under 21 right now.
And you
Like,
said something right there. LaMelo is damn near just as big a name overseas as Luka Doncic is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
From
yeah.
traveling around.
Oh, it's insane.
It's so that's just box office business right there. It just makes no. That's why even just on that effect alone, he is a top 5 pick. If you don't even take into account just his actual talents and abilities. Somebody say 76ers get Josh Richardson.
Yeah, it just got finalized. They got Josh Richardson, and the Clippers sent Miami sent the Clippers a future first-round pick, and Maurice Harkless went to the Clippers. I'm assuming that's from the Blazers. So they just made it into a 4-team deal, pretty much. I mean, it's still pretty much the same trade. He's still headed to Miami. But, I mean, definitely with this whole LaMelo thing, I mean, I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was like 16. Like, LaMelo is the 16th most famous player in the NBA, if he was in the NBA.
Right now, yeah.
And he hasn't even been drafted yet.
Yeah.
Lonzo had, like, in the first few weeks after he was drafted, he had like a 2 million follower spike. Let LaMelo get drafted to the Knicks and see if he isn't the most famous NBA player.
That's a fact.
Like, he'll almost, like, in one season as a rookie, he'll nearly catch Curry, LeBron, KD. Like, he'll be in the 15, 20 million follower range after a season. Like, he'll literally be in the upper echelon of famous NBA players.
For sure.
And I really think people are down-tuning that because they're just saying he's a big name. They're trying to put him off like LaMelo's Julian Newman. Like, that's how people try and make it sound. And LaMelo is no Julian Newman.
Yeah.
Like, not to mention he grew to 6'8". Like, and he's not done. 17. Cole Anthony's 19.
Yeah.
Like, Cole Anthony's in his class. People really think LaMelo and Cole Anthony deserve to be compared. I mean, you shouldn't even compare LaMelo to Cole Anthony for another 2 years. Like, LaMelo has played up his whole life and is still playing up.
Yeah, that's something that I feel like people, when Melo was 16 and folks was like, man, he's sorry, he can't, he get crushed in the NBA right now. And I'm like, well, duh, he's 16. He's the fact that you can even put him in the conversation, that it's a possibility.
It's showing you how great he will be. Yeah.
It's just that.
No, it's showing you.
It's levels to it. And even in the JBA and all of that stuff, he was 17 at that time. He was averaging a 50 or near 50-point triple-double. It's like 43, 11, and 11. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear that the JBA didn't have as much talent as college teams because they don't have as much talent maybe as some upper echelon colleges, but pretty much everyone in the JBA could have played college ball. It may not be at Duke, obviously, but there's been players drafted out of Harvard. Jeremy Lin is in the NBA.
Exactly.
Like you find diamonds in the rough everywhere, and at the end of the day, he was now playing more talent than he was in high school. And I don't, for the life of me, understand how people argued that.
Yeah.
Because, like, they were taking graduated high school players. They weren't the top of their class, but they were decent basketball players, and they were now putting them all on the same team. So at the very least, you're playing better talent than if you're playing the schools in your district or state or, I mean, maybe not obviously than when you play a powerhouse or something like that. But if you're not playing a powerhouse school, like, look at all Zion's competition throughout his basketball career. He just played a bunch of white guys that looked like me out there. He wasn't playing anybody good. He wasn't playing, any physically dominant anything. Like, he was just playing basketball, and the JBA was 100% better competition than what Zion faced in high school. It just was.
That's a fact, man. And that's a conversation that I got tired of having with people. They were not paying
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of those JBA players respect. If you look at now, Curtis Hollis is in the Drew League.
He's tearing the Drew League
eating
up.
And when the JBA like was going on,
LaMelo getting respect for it, Curtis Hollis barely being talked about, and he deserves to be talked about.
It's a fact.
Like, he could make a roster by the time he's 24, 25, and he fully grows into a man body.
Yeah.
I mean, other players have been that old when they got drafted. Look at, like, Buddy Hield and others. Mm-hmm. They've been 23, 24 when they get drafted. I mean, there is a time for it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, granted, you want to draft players as young as possible that are as good at a young age, but at any point you're good enough to be in the NBA, even if it's 28, 29, they'll take it.
And that's a fact.
You got to keep putting in the work. And, I mean, it sucks because you almost – because they would get better development on an NBA roster. But an NBA team has to, obviously be willing to take them, to give them that chance. But back to this Lakers-Pelicans trade, because we definitely got off topic with that. Mm-hmm. When we're going over who won or lost this trade, like we were saying, it's got to be 100% on Kawhi, right?
It's a fact.
So if you take Kawhi out of it and you're looking at it in just, and just like, I don't necessarily – a vacuum. There you go. That's what I was trying to go with. If you just look at it in a vacuum, Anthony Davis, for all the players the Pelicans got, the Lakers lost the trade.
Oh, yeah.
And they just did. And I say that with confidence because the only thing that made them win the trade was the fact that you open up a max spot or close to. They still had to do something else to open it up. But you open up a max spot so you could have gotten Kyrie or Kawhi. Mm-hmm. Kyrie's now off the table, and so it's pretty much just Kawhi. And so now you still need a player to take up heavy minutes.
Yeah.
Like, who else is going to play 35 minutes a game? Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, if Kawhi doesn't get signed, who plays 35 minutes a game every night? You know it.
It's going to be
because there's nights
Carmelo.
Danny Green shouldn't play 35 minutes. As I'm saying, Carmelo. Ugh. I mean, they're like, all the other players you can name, I can give you reasons why they don't deserve to play 35 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. Danny Green, Rondo, Cousins. I mean, I would have to pull back up the list, but literally every person has a problem. Iguodala, Marcus Morris, anyone I can name that the Lakers can still get that is a free agent does not deserve to play 35 minutes a night. None of them, let alone 30. Yeah, so, I mean, when you're looking at who's going to play 30 minutes a night, because somebody has to, it can't just be LeBron and Davis, unless you're going to get a bunch of role players in the mall, play 15 to 20, but there's not enough good role players to sign that many. Yeah. So it really comes down to, if they don't get Kawhi, they have no depth. One injury, they're screwed, they're done. And if it doesn't go right in the first year, what if AD leaves?
And the truth of the matter is, even if they get Kawhi, they don't have no depth. And you got three guys on your team who I would call injury prone. Obviously, LeBron is an Iron Man, but he missed a ton of games last season. You're going to maybe go with this low management thing, but Kawhi was limping all the way through the playoffs.
Yep.
After load management, AD was going through his own thing last season. So I think that so that makes it even tougher to say, because I did say if the Pelicans, if the Lakers get Kawhi, then they win the trade. But I'll say that I'm not even 100% sure, even with Kawhi, that they win the trade, because then they just look like the Warriors did this past season in the playoffs, where it's everybody's struggling.
Yeah, they could potentially look like that. And that is why it's still not a 100% guarantee the Lakers would win a title. It would just look like that. If they signed all three, obviously they're the heavy, heavy favorites. but an injury away or 2 injuries away or an injury and a limp, whatever it is, and it could be a different ballgame.
Exactly.
Especially because they have no depth. Uh, I just think with this, if you think if Kawhi signs, there's a few other dominoes that will with it. I think Danny Green may be receptive to following Kawhi on a minimum deal, or maybe he's only waiting out to see if Kawhi doesn't go so he can go to the Lakers and get paid. It could go either way. I'm not sure.
I feel like, he definitely waiting on Kawhi.
Yeah, I think he's waiting on Kawhi one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Either so he can get his money in LA if Kawhi doesn't, or so he can follow Kawhi back to Toronto or to LA.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much that. But I think Danny Green is waiting on Kawhi. So that domino will drop when he drops. And the problem is we just can't sign anyone officially.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got Troy Daniels today, a career 40% three-point shooter, but you can't sign him yet because, I mean, you can't take up cap room.
Yeah.
You're just agreeing in principle, and they're waiting for Kawhi to get ready. But they need to agree in principle to a few other free agents so they can sign Kawhi first.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Somebody said it down here. Yeah, the Lakers missing out on everyone right now. They need
everybody.
Which is also sad because the Knicks are missing everyone as well, and they got a full roster.
Yeah, I mean, but the Knicks did get some players at least. At least they had a backup plan and they executed it.
Yeah.
But they executed their backup plan because Kyrie and KD, you already knew where they were going. Woj tweeted it out before free agency started. So it's easier to get a head start on, Woj just tweeted we're not getting them. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Yeah. Now all of a sudden they're like, boom, Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis. And they just start making these moves. And you're looking at, the Lakers, they're not making moves currently. But that's because they are just waiting on Kawhi. Mm-hmm. Because it's Kawhi or nothing for them. Kawhi or bust.
It's Kawhi
and
or
for the
die.
Pelicans, exactly, that's a good one, Kawhi or die. And when you're looking at it, you've got the Pelicans over there. I mean, a starting five of Lonzo, Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Zion, and Jahlil Okafor. Pretty much everyone in that lineup is from Duke, but Lonzo. And so you've got a bunch, and I think Drew may have went to UCLA actually.
Yeah. Or I don't know. His brother, I know for sure, went to UCLA.
Yeah, but I mean, point being is, so then you've got them, and then you've got, he went to UCLA. And so when you're looking at things like that, you've got, I mean, you got Josh Hart off the bench, JJ Redick off the bench.
I think,
and really,
I was gonna say
they'll almost
JJ
go with
Redick
a three
addition.
shooting guard lineup.
Yeah. I was gonna say the JJ Redick addition was clutch. They need some of that shooting for sure.
Yeah, and they already have enough defense to make up for his defensive liabilities. Yeah. And it's honestly why he will be a great sixth man. But Lonzo's going to have to earn JJ Redick staying a sixth man. I will say that. If Lonzo doesn't shoot above 33% from three, like if he doesn't continue to progress from three, he could find himself coming off the bench for Drew Holiday. Because Drew Holiday, it is still Drew's team, and they're going to need shooting in that starting lineup. And unless they're about to bench BI, they don't have a ton of options because Zion isn't tall enough to move to center.
Yeah.
So Zion's going to have to stay power forward. Brandon Ingram or Lonzo, one of them is going to have to lose some minutes to JJ Redick so you can get a lineup out there with JJ, with Drew Holiday, with Zion, and hopefully with Lonzo and with, maybe Jackson Hayes or Okafor.
See, what I like, man, I like when these teams get to a place where throughout the season you're getting all of your bench, everybody's getting some minutes, and then so by the time the playoffs come around and the injuries start to happen and you need to start calling guys in, they already been in the fire. You know what I mean? With these Lakers, I feel like they already not going to have a ton of depth. And by the time, because in the playoffs, there's no way that by the time the playoffs roll around, you got LeBron, AD, and Kawhi healthy. So like I want them to be able to have some guys who you can trust stepping in there, like Kuzma. Right now, everybody feel like he's the like, oh, we still got Kuz, but I'm telling you, I believe that by the time the playoffs come around, people gonna be like, didn't Kyle Kuzma play for the Lakers? What happened to him? And
Oh yeah, no, I mean, and it very well could. I mean, he has some duds with his scoring sometimes, but I mean, he's working with
yeah,
lethal shooter.
I,
So I mean,
I'm
he could still maybe have a good year.
I'm saying I don't even think it's him. I think he's a talented player. I just think that whatever system that they create is going to be one where at the end of it, Kyle Kuzma probably going to give you maybe 10 points a game, max 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that that system that LeBron likes to run is just
Oh,
going
I
to
mean,
be,
if they sign Kawhi, he definitely takes a step
yeah.
back in scoring.
And so,
If they sign Kawhi, you're looking at 14 points a game off the bench.
yeah,
You're looking as a six man.
he
Is going to be his role if they sign Kawhi.
he turned into like Channing Frye with the Cleveland, where like he either gonna get a DNP or he gonna play and then shoot 5 3-pointers. You know what I'm saying? Or
Well, okay, I don't know if all that'll happen to Kuzma. He's still too young, and they don't know.
I'm
They don't have
telling
the
you,
depth.
that's LeBron,
Nah,
dude.
I
That's
mean, because we were
LeBron.
just talking about that. I mean, maybe, but we were
Not,
just talking about that a second ago.
yeah, not a
And,
DNP, but
yeah,
damn
they don't have the
near
depth for that.
as far as usage rate, he might as well just get a DNP. That's what I'm saying.
Got you. Okay, I mean, I could see that. I could see him have minimal shot games, but I mean, just like we were talking about earlier, I left Kuzma off that. The Lakers do have Kuzma, so if they completely strike out, Kuzma's going to be the guy playing 30-something minutes a night alongside them. And so that's not necessarily what you want. I think Kuzma's best off playing 24 to 30 minutes a night. I mean, at least 2 quarters, and then probably a little more. Like about half of each quarter is all Kuzma needs to be in the game if they can get another piece. If they can't, they have to play him 35 minutes a night. They don't have a choice. But actually, I got J.J. Redick's stats up here, and he's a very interesting player. Like, the league changed at the right time for J.J. Redick.
Yes.
Because all throughout his career, like the first 4 years, he wasn't even a 10-point-a-game scorer. Then, like, the next, I don't know, like 8 years, he's pretty much a 15-point-a-game scorer. Like, he goes 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 15. And then he joins Philadelphia, and then he's a 17, then he's an 18-point-a-game scorer. So, like, and that's all because throughout his career, he's went from an average of 3 3-point attempts a game to 6 to now 8. And so he just takes more threes, which is resulting really in, you know, it's just because of the way the NBA is with their offenses. So he's still going to get those same attempts for the Pelicans because they need it. Like, and so you're looking at, he's easily still going to be a 15-point-a-game scorer with the Pelicans at minimum. And, I mean, he's a career 41% from 3, which is going to be great next to Lonzo and Zion.
Facts.
If they truly invest in Lonzo and make Drew Holiday the shooting guard and don't try and take away from Lonzo's minutes, which also he has part to do with that too. He has to be hitting his shots. If that happens, I mean, then you're really going to see him average like 8, 9, maybe even 10 assists a game this year, because he's going to. I mean, he'll get 2 or 3 assists a game to Zion alone in transition. Yeah. He'll get another 2 or 3 to J.J. Redick. Like, it's going to be a show.
It'll definitely, somebody said here, Zion and Zoe going to break social media this year. And I believe this is the year that folks were waiting on with Lonzo when they talked about he could be a player who averages a triple-double, where he could easily, if he can give you
13, 14, 10, and 10.
Exactly. He could do that easy, because that's one of the things that I don't know if it's the system that they play in, like in high school, that fast-paced thing. And I seen it with LaMelo, is they they have an uncanny ability to just get boards and push the pace.
Right.
Like if you watch LaMelo rebound, and watching him play in the JBA overseas and all of that, somehow he would have 14 rebounds. And I think it's the same kind of knack for finding the ball that Lonzo has, so that's going to come natural. And like you said, if they really invest in him and understand that you got to get guys out there who are willing to run, and you got Zion who he's not going to be somebody who's dominating in the half court like that. You need him high flying and throwing down hammers in transition.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, he doesn't even need to develop into a triple-double this year. Even because really it's all going to come down to defense. If he could just average 13, 7, 7, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
Like if he could get 2 steals and a block to go with 7 rebounds, I mean, he may just be Defensive Player of the Year with those stats at the point guard position. If he averaged 7 boards, 2 steals, and a block, like it could be close with the amount of impact and how good the Pelicans would be defensively with him doing that. And Zion, at minimum, is going to average a steal and a block a game.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so athletic, he's going to have a steal and a block a game. We already know that. I don't even have to watch, and I know he's going to average that. Yeah. Probably to go with 10 rebounds. Because if Luka Doncic can average 8 rebounds, I have to think an athletic freak can get 10 if he's trying. So, I mean, they really are going to be insane. And it's hard to judge the Pelicans and the Lakers trade off of them getting JJ Redick and Zion as well on who won or lost. But if we're doing the same thing with Kawhi, saying that the Lakers won the trade because they got AD and they can still get Kawhi, then we almost can do the same thing with the Pelicans. Yeah. And so from that point in time when the trade happened, who has made better trade or who's made better moves, including the trade?
Yeah.
The only answer is the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Because they obviously drafted Zion. They got all the pieces they needed. They made another trade in the draft to get more pieces to draft. They filled out their roster. They added JJ Redick. I mean, they've made quality moves across the board. And the Lakers made a trade. They waited around, made a trade to make sure they could get a max player, and now they're waiting. And if they don't get the max player, well, I mean, what? Like they've traded away everything. Yeah. At that point, they would be the biggest losers. They would be the biggest losers over the Knicks and everyone else in the free agency period. Yeah. Because at that point, they would have really lost something. Because right now, the Lakers have cap space, at least, and they have hope to get Kawhi. But if they don't sign him, unlike other teams, they don't have any young talent, any future draft picks, anything left to even sign. Yeah. So it comes down to there's really nothing left.
Yeah. I would say, man, I think, if they don't sign Kawhi, what they're going to have to do is talk to Adam Silver and see if he can go ahead and figure out a way to let LaMelo slide in right now. That's the only hope that they got. They could pull some strings like that.
They need a point guard. I mean, honestly, right now, let's be honest. A 17-year-old LaMelo Ball. I almost want to say he's better than Rondo, like at this moment.
I would definitely bet my money on Melo right now over a Rondo if I had to. If I was a franchise and I had some money to spend.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you get to pick one in your franchise because LaMelo's younger, future, everything else. But I'm just talking about it. If you got one game, and you need to just pick one player to help you win the game. I mean, it's honestly got to be pretty close because Rondo is not the same defender he was. As good as he is as a passer, LaMelo's just as good. Rondo's never been a shooter. So even if you don't think you've seen enough of LaMelo's shooting to see if he does it at the NBA level, you know he's at least as good as Rondo at shooting because that's not saying much.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it actually would be a tough call. And that's why when people are saying LaMelo's not a top 5 pick, It's
I
just
think that was
crazy to me. Like, look
stupid.
what he was doing to pros, not even at the Drew League, just a like a warm up. There was a video going around where he was scoring on a couple different pros. One of them being like Montrezl Harrell. Uh, like, I mean,
Yeah.
he can get buckets. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, he can score, he can pass. I mean, people are now knocking his defense, but people didn't think Lonzo was a defender when he was coming into the league.
That's a
They were knocking
fact.
his too. Like, people are knocking LaMelo's defense until he's 19, 20 years old,
Yeah.
starting to put muscle on you, and he tries to lock you up.
Yeah. I
Like
think
right
that
now, go ahead.
I would say people don't realize or they don't give enough credit to systems, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the reason why his defense was seemed to be so bad is because the system that they were playing required him to play no defense. Like the strategy is whatever you do, let him score, get a shot up as quick as possible, and just get out and run.
So
So
you
like
can get a shot as quick as possible.
exactly. So
Yeah, they were just playing a system to score. Like, we
exactly.
just think we can outscore you. We're gonna make more
Yeah.
shots than you're gonna make.
But if you really got to, and I think that one of the things that I realized, and especially with Jello, is that when they trapped, like their on ball defense at the top of the trap was elite.
Oh,
Like
it
there's
is,
many
and
times
that's
where
going to lead to great one-on-one defense as well.
exactly,
They're just athletic. They
exactly,
Because I mean, look at it. They say that the trap doesn't really work in the NBA or at all these other levels, but when you've got good enough defenders at each of the level, it can.
yeah, it can work.
Now, at the NBA, you expect everyone to be able to pass well enough that a trap shouldn't work. But
Yeah,
I've seen it work in the NBA. I've
yeah,
seen one person pick someone up 94 feet in the NBA, whether that being Patrick Beverly or Lonzo Ball. And I don't see a reason why, if Lonzo and LaMelo were on the same team, you couldn't see them both trying to pick up 94 feet one day. One day,
yep,
like they have the game for it for sure. And I mean, we're about ending up here, but I mean, I really think that it's going to be interesting next year for that 2020 draft.
yeah,
I'm still holding true that LaMelo is going to be the number one pick.
yeah. I got a feeling that whatever he does in Australia will be enough to solidify him as his number one pick, and I think that just what I feel like what he's going to do on the court, and I made a video about this where they brought in Aaron Brooks to be a point guard as well. Aaron Brooks from Chicago Bulls played in the NBA for many years, so I'm hoping that they figure out a way to get both of them on the court, and it's not just like a either or show, and then you see LaMelo play 10 minutes a game or some silly stuff like that. But I think if they let him actually run the point
Oh,
and kind of
no.
make it his
LaMelo,
thing,
that I haven't seen that happen well, I guess that did happen actually with
yeah, and
Vitatis or whatever,
yeah,
but I mean, LaMelo got to be playing like the whole game over
and,
there. If he's not, they got to cut bait with that on the spot.
exactly. And I hope that they do it, because what I feel like you're going to see is the audience. He's going to come back. Right now, you said that he may be the 16th like most famous NBA player. Whenever he comes back from Australia, he's going to be top 5 just off of fame alone.
Yeah,
So
he'll
I
probably
feel,
be more
yeah,
like top 10. I mean,
yeah,
I just because Lonzo's only at like 12, I think, to
yeah.
his 16, and he'd have to pass Lonzo first,
I'm telling you,
which I don't
believe
think he will yet.
I believe he's gonna pass Lonzo. I believe.
I
I'm
think he has to be
surprised.
drafted before he passes Lonzo.
I'm surprised that he already has not passed Lonzo. And I would tell you that on one of the things that.
Oh, the only thing keeping it even is Lonzo was a Laker.
Yeah.
If not, LaMelo's the more famous brother. I mean,
And-
I got a lot of flack for this quote. I said, everyone forgets because Lonzo was first and LeVar was the loudest, but LaMelo put his family on the map.
Yeah.
Like, he just did. Like, LaMelo is the most famous one. He's the one that makes the whole family. Because, because with just Lonzo, him being good at basketball, that doesn't create a big storyline to make it these brothers and a reality show,
Yeah.
and it doesn't draw the same interest. Anyone can be a single player like Lonzo
Yeah.
Ball. There's a ton of them. There's LeBron, there's Zion, I mean, you can even name lesser players, right?
Yep.
But not everybody is, you know, the younger brother to Lonzo and LiAngelo, who already had scholarships.
Exactly.
And at the time, when he was a freshman in high school, was already rated as the number one in his class.
Yeah. That's
so, I mean,
they have the perfect dynamic. This is something that and then I gotta rush off after this one. But
yeah, that's fine.
I remember in high school, I had an older brother, and he played a little bit, and it's just like they used to call me Little Doug. My brother's name was Doug. And then so you touch down on campus and you're already Little Doug. Like people already know. Like guys who I played under, who I played with, they're little brothers. So you already, well, you got a guy like Zoe who is the man on campus and then they're the number one player in the country at that time. Then you add in Jello, and now all of a sudden you got Lil Zoe, you know what I'm saying, who touched the court, like he just blew it up. And then when that kid can already like can actually play, it's just it just blow it up.
Oh, it's
low. So
yep.
I agree with you, but man, we gotta do this again. I gotta go, man. I gotta like 15 minutes to go pick up my son from summer camp, and so we'll hop back on here and get some more conversation going, and get more into these questions. There's a lot of folks in the chat right now who has some questions and all of that stuff. So we'll get to that the next time.
Yeah, next time we'll get to all the questions, and I'll try and get it up on my computer too. Maybe that way we can both go live at the same time next time, and I'll go live to Twitter while you're on YouTube.
All right.
Yeah. And we can probably do something like that.
All right. So man, y'all go ahead and follow my man Unique Sports Plus and all of his channels. Check him out, man. He was on fire this past season with the Lonzo